All right, so today we're going to be adding decimals again. And so we have our first problem up here, and it says 25 hundredths. Okay. Sometimes you'll hear people say 0.25 plus 42 hundredths, or you'll hear them say 0.42. Okay. All right, and so the first thing that we need to do is write down our first decimal number. And then the second thing that we have to do is make sure that your decimal, that's the most important thing inside when we're adding decimals, is to make sure that your decimals are lined up. Okay, so I need to have this decimal right here because that's where our other decimal was. Okay, and so now I'm going to write the number as it was up here. So before my decimal, I had a 0. After the decimal, there was a 4 and a 2. And then I'm just going to add those up, okay, straight down. 5 plus 2 gives us 7. 2 plus 4 gives us 6. Our decimal still has to be lined up. And then 0 plus 0 gives me 0. So the answer for this question is 0.67 or 67 hundredths. All right, so let's go on to another one together. This one is 1 and 7 hundredths plus 71 hundredths. Okay, and so the first thing again is we're going to write down that first number. And then once we have written down that first number, we need to take all numbers after that and make sure that the decimal is lined up with the first decimal. Okay, so our decimal is going to be right here. And then our number before the decimal is a 0. After the decimal, we have a 7 and a 1. Okay? And so what we're going to do is 7 plus 1 gives me 8. I'm just going to add straight down. 0 plus 7 gives me 7. And then 1 plus 0 gives me 1. All right? And so this one here, I'm going to leave this for your understanding. I want you to fill that out. Get your answer for 82 hundredths plus 12 hundredths, and then you'll plug this into our Google form. All right, and so we're going to go over here to the next side. We're going to do a couple more decimals. This time it's going to have us carrying over a number, okay? So again, when we add our decimals, we write the first number out. And then any numbers after that, we just have to make sure that the decimal is lined up. So I'm going to put my decimal here for the next number. And before that decimal was a 0. And after we have a 62. We're going to add all of that together. That'll give me 10, 9, and 0. Okay. All right. So we're going to do one more. We have 1 and 19 hundredths plus 1 and 82 hundredths. So again, I'm going to write down the first number. The second number or any numbers after that have to be lined up with the first decimal. So I'm going to put my decimal here. Then I'm going to have 1 and 82. And I'm going to add. Okay, 9 plus 2 gives me 11. 1 plus 1 gives me 2. 2 plus 8 gives me 10. So I'll carry up here. And remember, your decimal still needs to follow down here as well. And then I have 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and so this one here is the same concept. You will have your answer in the Google form. Okay, and we are going to do a couple more here. So this one, we are adding more than 2 decimal numbers. So they've given us 3 different numbers, but it's the same concept. The only thing that we have to remember is to line up the decimals. So I first write out my first number, which is 27 hundredths. And then all of my other numbers, the decimals have to follow. So 0 and 52 hundredths. And then I have 63 hundredths. All right. And then what I'm going to do is just add those up. So we have 7 and 2 is 9. 9 plus 2 gives me 12. 1 plus 2 gives me 3. 3 and 5 is 8. 8 and 6 is 14. Remember to bring your decimal down. Then I carry my 1. And that's my answer. Okay. All right, so we're going to do one last one, and then we should be good. So we have 2 and 45 hundredths. Remember, all numbers after this, the decimal has to be lined up. So I'm going to put 0, 12 hundredths, 1, and 73 hundredths. Okay, and then I'm going to add all those together. So 5 plus 2 gives me 7. 7 plus 3 gives me 10. 1 plus 4 gives me 5. 5 plus 1 gives me 6. 6 plus 7 gives me 13. Remember, your decimal has to follow right on down in line. Okay, and so finally we have 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 0 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay, and so this will be in your Google form as well. All right, so you should be good now. I hope that helps and that you guys are able to get the correct answers.